Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this evening news report right here on the Riley King Network. We're reporting live here in our Washington, D.C. studio. As you can see, the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. right behind me. Welcome to this news report right here on the Riley King Network. A sad day in the United States, in Washington, D.C., right at this landmark. What happened in this building is just sad and not good. As chaos erupts at Capitol, officials lambaste Trump for rhetoric that fanned flames. Congress members urge the president to condemn the violence. Members of Congress and former White House officials are criticizing the president and calling him to stop the violence after pro-Trump supporters and protesters breached the Capitol building Wednesday in a stunning scene. Take a look at this photo right here. These are Trump pro supporters inside the Capitol building. They broke through the police barricade and got into the Capitol building. A breach happened at the Capitol building, D.C. Very sad and not good for the country. President Trump indicated his followers to violence. Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat of Illinois, the Senate Democrat whip, said they stormed the Capitol and stopped the House and Senate in session. We do not know at this point the exact of the damage and injuries they have caused. Senator Richard, Democrat of Connecticut, called the scene armed interactions that was fueled by the president and his enablers. Republican members of Congress also spoke out. And here are what they said. Take a look. Last month, Trump teased Wednesday's protests in Washington, D.C., pushing the Senate not to certify the election for Biden. Be there will be wild, Trump tweeted. He has mentioned the rally, which he addressed on other occasions as well. During his speech at the rally, Trump said that he hoped Vice President Mike Pence would do the right thing and reject the result of the election, something he is not empowered to do, and said in a statement that he would not do. Trump, who repeatedly falsely said the election was rigged and stolen, also said, "We will never give up. We will never concede." Trump lost the popular vote by some 7 million and the electoral vote by essentially the same margin he won the 2016 election, which he termed a landslide. Wednesday afternoon, protesters pushed ahead of barricades and a wall of police officers in riot gear to get into the building. A woman was fatally shot inside of the U.S. Capitol, a law enforcement official told ABC News, and has passed away. Aimed the violent protests, Trump took to Twitter to ask for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. He said, "No violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you." Take a look at this photo right here. Trump supporter in the Senate chamber. Former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney said the president tweeted Wednesday was not enough. He can stop this now, and he needs to do exactly that. Tell those folks to go home. Condemn this now, former White House Communications Director said on Twitter of Trump. In a minute-long video posted on Twitter shortly after 4 p.m. Wednesday, Trump repeated falsehoods about the election and addressed the protesters, asking them to go home in peace. "We have to have peace. We have to have law and order," he said. "We love you. You're very special," he added. Rep. David, a Democrat of Rhode Island, said Congress should impeach and convict President Trump for indicating his supporters to storm the Capitol. "This is outrageous, and the president caused it. We should impeach and convict him tomorrow," he tweeted. Trump advisor and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie also placed blame on the president for the chaos that unfolded on the Capitol. "The president caused this protest to occur. He's the only one that can make it stop," the ABC News contributor said on an ABC News special report. Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cosby pleaded to Trump to appear on TV, condemn the violence, and tell people to disband. In South Carolina, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham called the protest a national embarrassment. "I support peaceful protests, but not violence and destruction. People need to leave the Capitol now," he tweeted. In a joint statement, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat of California, called on Trump to deem that all protesters leave the U.S. Capitol and the Capitol grounds immediately. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy called the protest actions unacceptable and un-American. "It has to go. Got to stop," he tweeted. And here's a look at this scene of the Capitol building as police used tear gas to get the protesters off the grounds of the Capitol building. During a news conference in Delaware, Biden called on Trump to deem an end to this. "The words of the president matter, no matter how good or bad that president is," Biden said. "At their best, the words of the president can inspire. At their worst, they can indicate." The White House has not responded to ABC News' requests for any comments on what happened today. And, just a very sad day, what happened D.C. At the Capitol building. It was uncalled for what President Trump did. And let's take a look at some live footage. We can tell you that Washington, D.C. is on a curfew. The curfew went into effect at 6 p.m. this evening and will be in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Take a look at some live footage. Arrest made near the Capitol happening. This is from ABC 7 in D.C. Take a look. People still on the streets as the curfew's in effect.
The first time in 232 years.
Again, curfew is in effect until 6 a.m. And that does it for this evening news report right here on the Riley King Network. Here is a live look at the U.S. Capitol building right now, as you can see. Thank you for joining us for this evening news report, and see you back here tomorrow with more news coverage. Good night, and goodbye.